Source Nation. Join us now for Transforming Your Mind with author and transformational coach Clinton M. McCoy as he shares the real secret to success. Source Nation, here is your host, Clinton M. McCoy.
Good evening, Source Nation family, and I'd like to welcome you to Transforming Your Mind with me, Clinton M. McCoy. I would like to start out with a slight apology if my voice sounds a little scratchy. I'm actually just getting over a cold. I think I'm into the final day. I didn't know if I would be over it tonight or not, so I wasn't for sure if I'd be able to be live on the show, but I think that I'm good enough that I can be able to sit in and bring the show to you. So I will start out by saying is I did not really get a chance to prepare because I didn't know if I was actually going to be able to be live. But nevertheless, I'm still going to do the show, and I'm just going to stick to something that I am an expert at and I do not have to prepare for, and that's actually goal achievement. I want to talk about goal achievement, setting goals, and more achieving goals, and even, I don't want to say more importantly, with equal weight is why most people do not achieve big goals. And there are a lot of reasons. And most of the time, it's not because of the plan, because we get it's easy for us to find plans to help us achieve the goals that we want to achieve. But the hard part is, one, becoming the person that we need to be in order to achieve that goal. Two, making sure that our attitudes and our actions align with the habits required to achieve then said goal. And then another, like I say, make sure that we are congruent with who we need to be to make it happen. Another thing is understanding key variables into achieving big goals. Now, like I said, when I talk about goal achievement, I'm not talking about the simple things. I'm talking about the goals that make you say, wow, the goals that kind of make you scared, the goals that make you question if you even have what it takes to do it. But you want to do it because there's a passion burning deep down inside of you that makes you feel like you need to do this, that this is a part of you. But for some reason, you never stay on the path long enough to even become close to achieving that goal. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. How do we do that? What do we need to change to achieve the big goals inside of our lives, the life-transforming goals, the goals that will free us from the bad days or free us from sad moods, free us from the chains of feeling less than our true God-given value is. And those are the big goals inside of our lives, the things that make us say, wow. A lot of the techniques that I use in goal achievement, mainstream-wise, they will say don't do them, that they won't work. And for the most part, you know what, they are right. They will not work in a mainstream product of goal achievement because a lot of the stuff in mainstream big goal achievement does not work. Mainstream wants us to think like, say if we're trying to lose weight, that we're going to be able to lose 30 pounds in 60 days without exercise, or how you're going to be able to not just make but save six figures in 6 months when you're only making $30,000 right now. They want to feel like how you will be able to just sit and wait for that special person to come into your life when you don't want to do anything special that might, or anything that might seem special to that special person that you want to attract. All these things are great selling points. People run out and buy them all the time, but they rarely achieve those goals. I call that the shiny object syndrome. The thing that looks shiny, the shiny path, is going to be the thing that, that will help us do unbelievable things in life. And that is very rare and very far removed from the actual truth of making things happen. I put a post on my Facebook page today, my regular Facebook page, Clinton M. McCoy, which everything is pretty much Clinton M. McCoy, about called Doing Some Real World Math. And I put goals plus time will give you small achievement, common accomplishment. So I'm saying if you set your goal and you just sit and wait on time, or thinking that if you just keep hoping and over time that you achieve that goal, yes, you can do that with small goals. You can definitely do that. That's common results that most people get. A lot of people feel like, you know what, I'm just going to do a little bit and I'm just going to wait and it's going to happen. Every now and then you get that, but that's rare. I don't use that equation when it comes to my goal achievement process. Another equation, this is one of 4 equations that I put on my Facebook page. So if you don't follow me on Facebook, you can go follow me, send me a friend request. I'm very personable, and you can I'll accept them, and then you can see some of my posts on Facebook, also inside my Facebook group, which I think I got about 3,400 people, or any of my other pages on there. That's where I'm reading this from now. The second one is goals plus effort. See, now for me, I like this one. This is pretty good, and you'll get some moderate achievements. You'll achieve slightly bigger goals this way, and you'll do it with less stress, and you'll get more results. Because in my opinion, you remove the variable of time. A lot of times when we place time as an independent variable on our goal to say, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds in 5 weeks. And by week 3, we see that we have not lost 5. That starts to put stress on us, and it starts to become daunting. And we'll start telling ourselves, I'm not going to be able to do it. So 8 times out of 10, before that 6 weeks even come up or 5 weeks even come up, we find ourselves quitting. And that's why people rarely get small achievements using that process. But when we actually use effort, then we kind of remove the variable of time, and that takes less stress off us. And when we are moving with less stress, you can tend to go further. So for an example, I will say, instead of me saying in 6 weeks, I want to lose 30 pounds or 20 pounds, I will say my goal is to lose 20 pounds, and I'm going to put in, this is the trick now, how much percentage of effort that you're going to put in towards that goal over the course of 6 weeks. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, you say to yourself, well, let me see where I'm at. So now you can actually gauge to see how you're going to move yourself further. Often what happens, though, is a lot of people, they say, even if we use that variable, that formula of goals plus effort to get you moderate and lower stress results, the key is how much effort are you going to actually apply. And this allows us to be more accountable for this goal achievement process. Because at the end of the 6 weeks, we won't be able to blame it on the plan or the process if we've only put in 30% effort, And then that once becomes on us. And at least we can go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this is what I need to do better over the next 6 weeks. But a key variable to this is that we've actually been going for 6 weeks. The difference between the equation or the formula for effort for goals and time is that because of the stress, most people stop at 3 weeks. So by even moving to the next level of goal achievement, goals plus effort, now we've actually done something more constructive towards achieving our goal. And we've actually achieved the goal of lasting for 6 weeks, which programs inside of our subconscious mind success habits. And this is one of the things that goal achievement comes down to, especially big goals, is we got to start developing success habits so that we can start believing in ourselves. But that belief factor is going to come in the last formula, the number 4 formula. But for right now, I'm going to move to the third formula, which is goals plus time. Matter of fact, I only had 3 here. I shortened it for my Facebook. But the next one is the third formula is the ultimate goal achievement. This is the one that I like to use. And if anyone actually follows me, you'll be able to see that over the course of the last 3 years, when I started actually bringing my reverse effect program to the public, to some, I've been able to do some amazing things. And I'll talk about that a little bit after I talk about this third formula. Now, this third formula is goals plus time plus effort times belief equals do anything that you can imagine. Now, only 20% of the population probably implements this goal achievement process because mainstream is not going to give this to you, for one. Now, you can buy this, but also in mainstream, most people are just looking for the gift. They want the handout. They'll come and say, hey, can you mentor me? Or can you help me? They're not saying, hey, can I give you this for exchange for the knowledge, or better than knowledge, the wisdom that you have on whatever goals that the person wants to achieve. Now, this is a powerful formula right here, so I want people to really listen to this. When you have goals and you have time as a variable, now remember, not time is in I want to do it by this time, but time saying that this is how much effort I'm going to put in over the course of time. And then you add that to your effort. And let's say like this, with this formula, and then times belief. With this formula, the great thing is about this is you don't have to apply 100% effort to do amazing things with this formula. Because with this formula, for one, you remove the stressful constraint of time-centered goal achievement. You free yourself by becoming the one accountable for your goal achievement formula or process, and that's by implementing the variable of effort. You actually boost yourself exponentially when you start to actually have belief in you, yourself, in the ability to actually achieve this goal. A lot of times we set big goals, but in the back of our minds, we kind of be telling ourselves we can't do it. It's going to be too hard. All it takes is one or two or three tops minor setbacks to make that voice that we buried in the back of our minds be reality and to make us set on down. So important that we follow the process in believing in ourselves. A key variable required in the belief in self or a prerequisite is, first of all, understanding who we are. This goes back to my 7 life-changing principles, and these are like the soft skills that I believe that people really need to achieve big goals, because you have to be able to accept yourself for who you are, not for who someone else said that you might be. We have to learn to delete negative programming instilled in us by society, loved ones, potential religious organizations, telling us what our limitations are, basically trying to tell us what we can and cannot do. And you can bet your dollars to donuts. On one of our shows, we talked about self-esteem and self-image. Your self-image will either blast you through the stratosphere in goal achievement or limit you to a life of mediocrity or less. And before we can actually really start believing in ourselves, we have to come to grips with who we are and build confidence in who we are. And this requires understanding not just our strengths, but also our limitations. And deleting this thing, there's a lot of people that want to tell us out there, look, man, you can do whatever you want. All you have to do is just believe. I don't buy that. I'm kind of I'm very practical when it comes to certain things. Now, a baby might have the opportunity to do everything that they want. But unfortunately, in life, there are consequences to our actions and the choices that we make. Now, with that being said, understanding your limitations or your weaknesses along with your strengths is where, in my opinion, you can have limitless goal achievements within inside those boundaries. A simple picture I like to paint for someone, look, chances are if you're 5'1" and 35, you're not about to dunk a basketball, not jumping off the ground and slamming the basketball. All right? So we got to understand our strengths inside and our strengths and weaknesses. Now, understand that if I'm 5'1" and I'm 35, no, I might not can't dunk a basketball jumping off the ground, but I can dunk it if I use something else. That's going outside your limitations. But understanding those things is going to be the key to achieving big goals. And I like to use the weight loss variable because as a holistic life and fitness coach, I've learned that the easiest way for me to connect with the widest audience is to potentially talk about things that most of us have dealt with. And it's not just weight loss. Some of us want to gain weight. It's not just a lot of us could have health problems. Some of us want to be healthier. Some of us want to gain more energy. And so I use those examples because a lot of us can relate to those different type of things. But, yeah, it is very important to be able to believe in yourself, be willing to apply the correct amount of effort that it's going to take for you to achieve the goal that you want. And I want to say give yourself time, not put yourself in the limiting constraints of time. A lot of people do affirmations, and I think this is a false and counterproductive way to do an affirmation. They'll say, next year I want to be. Well, that's rarely going to work because you're wishing. You're not really affirming in the now who you are and what efforts you're going to take to manifest that into a reality. I tell people, instead of saying it that way, say it this way. Hey, I'm already a photographer. And what I'm going to do over the course of the next year is I'm going to sharpen my skills so that I can make good money doing this. And watch how that happens. And watch how much stress you take off the plate. You know, it's just amazing. It's just amazing the things that we can do when we start filtering it through our God-given creative ability to do these different type of things, you know. And not just do these things, because at times I've learned that you have to become what you want to present to people. If you're out there and you want to be, excuse me, say you're a life coach. You want to be a life coach. You don't say, oh, I want to become a life coach. First of all, you got to see already if you have the experiences necessary to help someone get over the issues that you've been through. And now you declare yourself a coach. Now, at this point, you might be able to look at yourself honestly and say, well, I'm not really that good because I don't know that much. So what you do over the next year is you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be better. And then you go to life-changing principle number 1, and you start to broaden your perspective. You start to learn from people that you feel are great coaches. And I don't say good coaches. I say great. So at least you can be good. If you want to be a basketball player and you're a high school or a sports athlete, you got to start to say, this is what I am right now. And I'm going to take this next amount of time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and I'm going to hone my skills and then see what happens. And then before you know it, you'll be that good. So that's a few of the reasons. Like I say, a lot of people do not achieve big goals. Another set of reasons people do not achieve big goals because they don't have clarity. They're not able to see clearly their next steps. Now, this is what I want to emphasize. I said not see clearly their goal, because sometimes our goal is so big and it's bigger than who and what we are that we can't see all the details. And this is when we start to see that goal and we put it out there. But what we have to start to see clear is what is going to be my next steps. A lot of people tell you, look, you got to see your goal clearly. Yes, small goals. It's hard to see big goals, life-changing goals clearly, because a lot of the information that you probably require, you don't know yet. But what you can see clearly is, what am I going to do next? My next move, I have to give this up. I have to invest in this. I got to stop hanging around this. I got to wake up this much earlier. I need to start researching this type of different thing. I need to stop hanging around the 100 Twinkie eaters, even though they might be great people. They probably just won't align to your weight loss goal over time. So that's what I'm talking about, seeing clearly. You have to be willing to become knowledgeable. A lot of us do not achieve, well, I'm not going to put myself in the us, because right now I pretty much achieve a lot of the things that I really want. I'm not going to say that I achieve every goal that I set, but things that align to my overall purpose, yes, I definitely achieve those. And you have to be willing to acquire knowledge. And often it's knowledge outside of our current sphere of influence, our current network. Because if it was inside of our current network, we probably already have it, and potentially we'll be already doing the things that we need to do. So sometimes we'll have to step outside of the knowledge in our religious belief system. Oh, yep, I said it. Sometimes we're going to have to step outside the knowledge what's inside of our cultural background. So if I'm a white supremacist, then I might have to go to a black person, that's maybe the foremost knowledgeable expert in what I want to do. But a lot of us, we won't do those things because we want to stay inside of our comfort zone. I won't go outside knowledge that's not inside my comfort zone. And most of us, guess what? We stay stuck inside of our comfort zone that way. And I'll tell people right real quick, the comfort zone, beautiful place. Lovely, beautiful, peaceful place. But rarely does anything of significance grow there. If you want growth, you're going to have to be willing to get outside your comfort zone. I'm an avid book reader, avid audio program reader. Matter of fact, I believe one of the things that I want to do is I want to actually figure out a way so I can download my 10 most popular audiobooks and present them to people that I coach or that want to help or that really want to maximize living their life and not just surviving inside their life. And another thing is you have to make commitments. You can't just set your goal, say what you want, make declarations, hope, pray, and wish, and not be willing to commit to the process. And a lot of times the process to achieving big goals, is difficult because it's going to require us to become something that we currently are not. It's going to probably require us to engage people that we currently do not, that we might be uncomfortable with. It's going to probably require us to be comfortable dealing with fear and rejection. And Lord knows, a lot of us, we don't want that. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't wake up in the morning saying, man, how can I go get rejected? But you know what? I do wake up in the morning saying it doesn't matter how many rejections I get. I have to do what aligns to the accomplishment of my goal, because my goals are big, and they're not material goals. But I'm going to talk about that on another show, what my goals are, because I believe if I accomplish my goals, the material stuff, that stuff is going to manifest itself. That's easy. That's easy to get. I've been doing that for a long time. Now, mostly I probably should have put this one before commitment. But this next one, why most people do not achieve big goals, is because they simply lack the courage. They lack the courage, they lack the faith, and they lack the belief in themselves. They lack the self-esteem, and they lack the positive self-image. And most of us do not want to admit this. We don't want to admit that we lack courage. we want to act like our faith is strong when actually we don't do much to test that faith. And any test, we shut it down. We want to bring up the cloak of wisdom or whatever people say when they decide they don't want to confront hard things, or they want to hide, hide behind the blood or whatever strong thing that they think that they could use, instead of really denying themselves that they really don't have the faith of a mustard seed, because they don't have the faith to move the mountains, and not the dusty, dirt, rocky mountains. They don't have the faith to remove the mountains inside their own mind. They are usually the biggest builder of obstacles and getting inside their way of achieving big goals. And this is for the other 80% of the world's population. The other 80% rarely achieve big goals because they create, well, you know what, I'm not going to say population. I'm going to say it here in the United States, because we have a lot of opportunity. A lot of the reasons they do not achieve big goals is them. The demons that they have to fight are their own demons, and they choose not to do it. You got to have the courage. And honestly, you just don't believe in yourself. If you change these variables, you'll find that goals plus effort over a stated amount of time times belief in yourself, and I'm going to say belief in God, you'll find out you'll be able to do anything that you can imagine. And let me tell you something. God is not going to put more on your plate than you can handle. So he's not going to tell you that you can imagine yourself jumping over the Empire State Building. It's just going to be unlikely. God is not going to let you do that. He's going to let you know, I can show you how you can climb that building when right now you can't go up 5 steps. And that's how God is going to work. Very big, very big. I know this is great information. Please replay this, and I guarantee you, if you listen to it, take it to heart, you're going to be able to achieve any goal that you want to achieve in life, any goal that you can imagine inside your mind's eye. And like I say, contact me on my social media if you got any questions, because it's all about sharing information. And like I always say at the end of my shows or my videos, each one teach one. Always strive to be the strongest version of yourself, and never compare yourself to average people, or you'll find you'll never be more than average. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Until next week, remember, all the biggest changes that you can make inside your life starts with inside your own mind. You have the power to do whatever you want to do. Thank you, and until next week, see you later.